Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of Yahuwah thy Elohim, to observe to do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that Yahuwah thy Elohim will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of Yahuwah thy Elohim. Blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field. Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. Blessed shall be the basket and thy store. Blessed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and blessed shalt thou be when thou goest out. And Yahuwah shall cause thine enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face. They shall come out against thee one way, and flee from before thee 7 ways. And Yahuwah shall command the blessing upon thee in thy storehouses, and in all thou settest thine hand unto. And he shall bless thee in the land which Yahuwah thy Elohim giveth thee. And Yahuwah shall establish thee an holy people unto himself, as he has sworn unto thee, if thou shalt keep the commandments of Yahuwah thy Elohim, and walk in his ways. And all the people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of Yahuwah, and they shall be afraid. And Yahuwah shall make thee plenteous in goods, in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy ground, in the land which Yahuwah sware unto thy fathers to give thee. And Yahuwah shall open unto thee his good treasure, the heaven, to give the rain unto the land in his possession, and to bless all the work of thine hand. And thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow. And Yahuwah shall make thee the head and not the tail. And thou shalt be above only, and thou shalt not be beneath, if that thou hearken unto the commandments of Yahuwah thou Elohim, which I command thee this day, to observe them and to do them. And thou shalt not go aside from any of these words which I command thee this day, to the right hand or to the left, to go after other gods, to serve them. All right, family. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. Shalom, shalom. Hopefully everyone's doing well. Hopefully you all enjoyed that preview of an upcoming video called Deuteronomy 28. That's Deuteronomy 28, which Most High willing, we'll see, family. Hopefully I wanted to try to get it out this week, but I'm not sure, just based off of time and other things, family. I'm not sure if I can get it out this week, but Most High willing, I'll try to get it out. Definitely, it might be a Shabbat day release, but we'll see. We'll see. So anyway, but hopefully everyone's doing well. Shalom, shalom, shalom to everyone in the chat. Let's do, if you don't mind, family, let's do a quick mic check. If my mic sounds okay, if the volume sounds okay, if you could please just put a quick 1 in the chat. If you could please put a 1 in the chat if my audio sounds okay. And I just assumed that the video audio, or the audio on the video, was okay. I didn't see anyone complaining about it. So okay, thank you, family. I see the ones in the chat. All right. Well, let's get to the business at hand. Just wanted to give a quick update on some of the reporting that's been going out about, the madness that we've seen over in the Bronx that has to do with the secret tunnel underneath the Jewish synagogue. And shout out to brother Zion Lex. I believe he was at least the first one that I've seen that broke out the news, at least in our community, followed by Pastor Kelly. So shout out to my Mishpachah family for that. But I did want to just provide some additional insight on that, because if you're trying to figure out what's going on, if you're trying to follow the news, various news threads on there, it can be a little bit confusing because they're a little bit all over the place. They don't really explain the timeline, and they leave out a whole bunch of stuff. So with all that being said, family, I just wanted to bring this to you, and this will be hopefully, most high willing, this will be a good starting point, just so that you can see, it's somewhat important, right? And also, well, most high willing, we may do a follow-up lesson on this to kind of dig a little bit deeper into the actual synagogue that's there in Brooklyn, in Crown Heights. I mean, if you all don't know, Crown Heights was actually there was a riot. I guess you can call it a riot, but there was turmoil between the Jewish community and the so-called African American community in that area, and it had to do with Jewish gentleman driving. Unfortunately, he ran over two young boy. I think it was like two young boys, African Americans, and when the authorities got there, they removed the Jewish man from the car, but left the boys there. I believe even one still up underneath the car, and that caused a huge riot over in Crown Heights. So anyway, but that's just a long story short. Neither here nor there. Just to let you know that there is history in that community, right? There's history in that community. All right, so let's start. I just want to dive right on in. There's a couple of different angles. I kind of struggled as to what angle to start at with this. So I think for now, let me start off just by showing you the actual tunnel. And what we'll do is that we'll take a look at the tunnel. We'll point out some things about the tunnel, and then I'll go to the other side of the fence and just give you a quick video of someone that's perhaps of the community, of that community, the Jewish community, that's saying that, hey, it's not a big deal. I want you to hear their argument for that, and then we'll dig in a little bit further to see why that's not the case. All right, so here we go, family. I'm going to bring up a video, and I know it's starting mid-stream. I'm going to fast forward a little bit because a little bit further in this video is when they actually start to show you the tunnel. So here it is. Let me see if I can start it here. All right. So here's the beginning of the tunnel. As you can see, this is kind of like in the basement. I mean, it's finished. It's it's not a unfinished basement by any stretch of the imagination. So you can see it is a finished tunnel. And let me see if I can advance this. Just bear with me just for a second, family. On my screen, it's super small. Let me see if I can exit out of full screen. All right. So I'm just going to advance it just a little bit. All right. It was a quick pan over. And, you start to see just a lot of junk. What you'll notice, family, is just a lot of junk everywhere. You'll see, you can't really tell if that's a stroller or not. That's off to the left. But, just trash everywhere, right? So not a big deal. All right. Well, first pan was over to the right. It seemed like there was a restroom of sorts over to the right. Then he pans back over to the left. What you're looking at is that's actually a hallway that he's going to go down. That's going to lead downstairs to the actual tunnel. But then let's see if he's going to go down there first. Yep. There we go. So this is going down into the tunnel. This is underneath the synagogue. This is in Brooklyn, New York, right? And still, you see some unfinished things. Now, first thing right off the bat, family, what you'll notice is there's a lot of dirt. There's a lot of dirt on the ground on the floor, underneath the synagogue. So supposedly this is a shot, or this is a video capture of what's going on underneath the synagogue. So this is our starting point. So a couple of things to point out just from a observation perspective. You'll notice that the dirt is inside the synagogue. And I'll say that again, the dirt is inside the synagogue. So what that means is that the people weren't digging into the synagogue. It means that whoever was in the synagogue was digging out. I'll say that again, whoever was in the synagogue was digging out. And as they were digging, they were taking that dirt as they were digging and putting it, in various places. And you'll see it as we fast forward, as we forward the video. But that's one thing, one of the things I want to point out, because in some of the, whether you're looking at it on Twitter or TikTok or social media or mainstream media, some of the accounts will vary, because some of the accounts will say things like, well, they were digging in, it was an activity in which someone was outside the synagogue digging into the synagogue. No, this is from inside the synagogue. Right. So that's point number one. But let's keep going. This might be a quick pan. I'm going to see if I can stop it real quick because I want you to see something right quick. So you'll see clothes. You'll see clothes, right? And so black clothes, this matches the clothes of the Orthodox Jews that that you'll find in some of these other shots that we'll review. But that's an observation, right? So that points to who was down here digging these tunnels. Let's keep going. Then you'll notice a stroller. It's kind of hard to see, fam. I don't know if you can see. You probably can't see my mouse, but just to the kind of like to the top in the left, and this is what some people have pointed out, is that so underneath the synagogue there is like what is a baby stroller doing down there, right? Maybe they're using it for storage. Who knows? That's an observation. So of course, when some folks saw that, people were pointing out things like, oh, this has to be with child trafficking. Who knows, family? But that is an observation. I mean, it's not something to disregard, but we have to take note of it, right? And and investigate it, right? So child stroller in this basement in the at the beginning of the tunnel, because what we're looking at, family, is the beginning of the tunnel. And again, you can see all the dirt on the floor, right? And you'll notice the color of the dirt on the floor. The color of the dirt on the floor is kind of like that reddish brown, which is kind of sort of, family, the same color dirt that you would see over in Mount Seir, right? Mount Seir. It has that same reddish brown tint. And maybe that's just a coincidence. Let's keep going. So we're going to advance it a little bit. So what you're looking at now is, I know the lettering is covering it up. I think I might have another video where it's a little bit clearer. We'll see, family. I think it's on a different page, so we'll see if we can find a better shot. But as he's going forward, what you'll find is that there is a hole that was made in the wall. And based off of the way that the hole is made, we can tell that the hole was created from the inside out. Because what you can tell, family, is that when you take a look at it, like when he gets closer, you can tell that like layers were peeled off so that they could get to the hole, right? And so he's going to pan over, and you can see just a lot of dirt on the floor. You'll see buckets like these black buckets off to the left, which it seems as though they were using to extract the dirt out, to take the dirt out for wherever they were taking it, and they were taking the dirt out and they were dumping it in the synagogue. So it wasn't somebody coming in, it was somebody going out. And let me see. I see Pastor Kelly is in the chat. So hey, Pastor Kelly, if you want to hop on, I'm going to email you the link here. Bear with me just for a second, fam. I just want to see if just in case Pastor Kelly wants to join the live here. Let me see if I can get him the link. So, but yeah, family, it's very interesting. I think you'll just, like I said, just stick around to the end, because I have another video that I want to show you that probably no one else has shown you that might surprise you. So just bear with me just for a moment. Just going to give Pastor Kelly the link here, just in case he wants to hop on. So, all right, Pastor Kelly, I sent it to your email address, so hopefully most are willing. It should be in there. So if you want to hop on, feel free. All right, so let's continue on, fam. So let's recap. Starts off in the finished basement, goes down the steps. When you go down the steps, you see a baby stroller. Some people called that out and was like, well, what in the world is a baby stroller doing down in the basement? You know, some folks tie that into like child trafficking and all this other stuff. The other thing that we noticed was that there's a large amount of dirt on the floor, which, you know, just putting our investigative hat on, that tells us that wherever they were digging, it appeared as though they were digging from the inside out. They were going from the synagogue out, right? And that's why you see all this dirt on the floor. And then, and also remember, we also saw the clothes. There was what appeared to be the vestiges or remnants of the clothes of the Orthodox Jews kind of hanging on the rails. And then, you know, what you see on the screen is, you know, are the buckets, apparent buckets that they use to excavate the dirt. And let's just forward just a little bit. And so this is going to, it's kind of just looking around. You can see there's a stall there on the hanging on the wall over there. So they are definitely in the basement. They're messing this basement up. They busted down the wall and started digging out the dirt. And so that's where we are, right? So just so that you know, if you're looking at some of these reports, and they're going, like I said, they're going to tell you different things, but based off of this evidence, family, they were in this synagogue going out, right? So let's see, forward a little bit, so we get a little closer to the wall. So this is where I say, family, that you can tell that it was somebody in digging out, because you can tell if you look at the wall, you can tell that the layers were removed. So they removed that first layer first. I mean, that top layer first, you know, where you see like the red outline, they knocked that out. And then as they got to that inner wall, then they knocked out that inner wall, right? Which is that small opening at the bottom. So again, this is more proof that they went from the inside out. This was an activity from inside the synagogue out to wherever they were going. And we will go into where they were going, because there's some confusion about that. So here we go. So just and actually this part here is a little bit I think it's like the tail end of the discovery. But the main thing, family, you'll notice that on the wall, the color of the dirt on the wall matches the color of the dirt inside the synagogue. I'll say it again. The color of the dirt on the wall matches the color of the dirt in the synagogue, which is a fifth proof that they were digging from the inside out. From the inside out. So this is in Brooklyn. This is underneath the homes, family, and I've got something on that as well. But this is in Brooklyn, and as the camera pans around, he's going to look way on down that tunnel. Now, you really can't get an idea of how long that is, but I got some information about how long that tunnel is, and even some of those estimates are I think they kind of shorted those measurements a little bit, but this tunnel actually goes back very far. It's not just a tunnel that stays underneath the synagogue. And that's one of the things that some of the confusion that you'll see as you're going through some of these reports, because on some of these reports, they give you they imply that the tunnel was just underneath the synagogue. No, it's a tunnel that comes out from the synagogue and is going somewhere, right? And you can see this long tunnel going down, and we'll take a look to see where exactly this tunnel goes to. All right. So that's that. I think that's the end of that shot. Yep, he kind of zooms in a little bit. And yeah. So, all right. So now that I've showed you the tunnel, now let's get into the chronology of what happened, right? The chronology of what happened. So for that, I'm going to, let me see if I can pull up this page for you. Well, actually, before I do that, family, I'm just going to show you let's see, did I show you? I hadn't showed you the mattresses just yet. Maybe I should show you that first. So let me do this, family. All right, so let me show you this. Oh, hang on. I see Pastor Kelly. Peace and blessings. How you doing, Pastor?
Hey, how's it going, cuz? How's everything?
Hey, doing good, cuz. I'm surprised you're online, seeing as you all had your Bible study tonight. So thanks for jumping on.
Hey, yeah, I was just peeping out the broadcast, because I remember it was starting at 10. So I was like, let me go peep it out, see what's going on in those tunnels.
Yeah. You'll be surprised. I have a few. It's funny, family, because in the investigation, man, we contribute, right? Just like with the, with the information about Israel being a Black melanated people, we contribute. We all from different walks. We're all going to libraries. We're all doing the research, and we're taking out that information, and we're contributing to the body. I kind of look at it as open source. If you're ever in IT and programming, there's a term called open source, and that's kind of like this community where everyone is contributing to the truth. And that's how I figure that how I approach things, and that's how I'm approaching this investigation into what's going on, because really it just happened. A lot of speculation out there. You'll see a lot of stories kind of flip-flop and give you different points of views and stuff like that. So just want to see if we can help clarify some things as they continue to do their investigation.
Right. And call out the hypocrisies. Come on, man. You got guys crawling out the walls.
Right.
Fighting the police, and they still lived.
Oh my goodness.
Come on now.
Well,
now, you know, if that was someone from our community, man, you'll have all kinds of videos done. I mean, but quiet on this.
Yep.
No, I want to hear the communities that's constantly dragging us under the raking us over the coal to see what they have to say about this.
Right.
But yeah, I just thought I'd mention that. But I mean, and actually too, to add to what you pointed out about the tunnel, because when you understand like photography and photos and scaling, yes, that tunnel, I can tell you just by analyzing what you have up on your screen, as far as that tunnel, that's a very long tunnel, especially when you understand city blocks.
Oh, come on now.
City blocks is very long, family. And when you start getting into buildings, when you know in the position of it, this right here tells you this is far away from the synagogue. I can tell you, look at where he's coming out at. And then if you follow the tunnels, this is not inside the synagogue. Though they would try to tell you it's still close to the synagogue. No, that is away from the synagogue, especially when you see the hat coming up. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't one of the what you call it, the
like the grates.
Yeah, but it's another term that they use up there. I can't think about it, but but him coming up out of the ground like that, that's an alleyway. Actually, because you see certain things on the outside, so that's an alleyway. If you familiar with how the city is structured, but it's a lot of questions that we got to ask, because I mean, for this to happen, there's a lot to go with it. I'm not going to get ahead of what you're presenting here, but there's some other scandals, you know what I mean, that many people may not be privy to. But I encourage you to look up the welfare scandal up in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, on millions of dollars, right? And some other scams. I'll leave it at that.
Yep. Good point. And like I said, most high willing, I do have a map to show you. It's probably the first map you've seen on this issue. And that's another thing. It's like when you watch a lot of the news, they don't tell you, they don't give you a map. They don't show you where things are. They're kind of vague on where the tunnel comes from and where it goes to. And that's the thing, family. It's like anytime people start leaving out information, like basic information that you would expect for them to give you. Like if they say, hey, we made a tunnel, we found a tunnel. And after a while, people will start asking, well, where's the tunnel from and to, right? So we know the tunnel starts at, or it's something to do with the synagogue, right? But no one's really telling you where it goes to. And I think Pastor Kelly, in your video, you pointed out that, it goes to like a mikvah, like a woman's bath, right? Jewish woman's bath. I think that was on your video. Yeah. But they, so, and that sometimes it's included, sometimes it's not. Sometimes they make it seem like it's in the synagogue. We'll read about it, family. I have a couple of clippings to show what I'm talking about.
And to
But
your point too, because what
yep,
you just pointed out, and this is where it gets questionable because they try to say that that was a, it was a deserted, that it was no longer in use, women's bath. So the question has to be, we have to ask, well, if they're saying that it was no longer in use, that it was closed off and everything, why would they have to make do a tunnel to get to it? And if that's, let's just say if they hypothetically is correct, what were they trying to do inside it? Anyway, I'll leave that alone.
yep. All good questions, and that's why it's. I think that's why it has gone viral. It's because people are watching this and they're wondering, like, man, what's all this? Why do they have tunnels underneath there, and why are they finding all these different things? But one of the things I want to share with your family is a good website that has at least the bulk of the information that you'll want to take a look at, and it is crownheights.info. So crownheights.info is a pretty decent site as far as getting your information on what's going on. And although they do kind of sort of leave out what I would think would be the catalyst for all this, because you'll hear things like, well, and let me see if I can scroll down to the picture first here. Let's see if it's worth reading a little bit of this, where it says, chaos is reigning in 770. And that's part of the address of the synagogue. It says, after the powers that be attempted to seal the tunnel under 770, leading to widespread vandalism inside the building. So the background story is that at some point they discovered this secret tunnel, and then they decided to try to seal the tunnel. And when they tried to seal the tunnel, that's when the black hats got real hot, and they started to and let me see if I can scroll down. I'm going to show you a screenshot as I'm telling you about it, because there's actually a screenshot on this webpage of that's a cement truck. See, the cement truck showed up, and so they were met by the Jewish community, and they weren't happy. They did not.
Because stop it right there. Go back to that cement truck.
Yep.
See, this is where the questions have to come in through investigation.
Mm-hmm.
You can't pour cement without having the authorization to do so. You have to go and get a permit. You have to get a builder permit to come and lay down cement like they're doing.
Yep.
You can't just pull up with a truck like right now where you live at. If you pull up with a truck right now of cement and you call yourself laying it out, you're going to get in trouble by not getting a permit to properly authorize that. Also, this can be considered of trying to cover up evidence. They said that like you said, it got out of hand because they were trying to close up the tunnel. Well, technically, that would be trying to hide evidence. It's so much to go. I mean, questions right here, but just having that truck right there, you need a permit. And the question is, who granted them the permit? Now, up in New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, it's a lot of under the table stuff. But you have to have a building permit. You have to have some type of permit to be able to dump concrete and have that type of truck. That's not something that you're going over to Home Depot.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's not like you taking a couple of bags of cement and you laying your deck out. And even then, you still have to have a permit. So whose property? Where are they covering it up at? Is it just in the synagogue, or was they trying to fill the entire tunnel with concrete? Because that looks like they trying to fill that entire tunnel. A truck like that's not just putting concrete on the wall.
Right.
That's trying to fill in the whole tunnel. Anyway, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Actually, yeah, I just want to make sure I'm not on mute. Oh, there we go. Okay. Now you're good, cuz actually, because like I said, I was struggling like where to start, but based off of the conversation we're having, family, I think it makes sense to start at the very beginning. And I'm chuckling because you're gonna trip out on this. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm going to shift a little bit and pull up something else. So I'm going to start out with the map. I don't know if you're kind of like me. I think that maps are a good tool to kind of show you your bearings and stuff like that. So let me see if I can find my map, and let's let me go to. I'm just going to pull it up first, family. So this map is.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing.
Go ahead.
Somebody posted in the chat, man. The chat, y'all on fire tonight. Somebody posted in here that they may have found Jimmy Hoffa.
Oh, goodness. All right, fam. So, all right. So, hopefully you can see this map. Hopefully you can see this map. And actually, this is actually a screenshot. And let's see. Well, Pastor Kelly, you are the StreamYard expert. Is there a way to zoom in on this
actually,
one here?
StreamYard is not, but
like
if this is in your browser, there's a StreamYard. I mean, there's a way to zoom in on your screen.
Okay.
Right there, you see the arrows down at the bottom?
Yeah.
Where it says 97%.
Yeah, I got it. There we go. Thank you,
All right.
fam. All right. So just to give you an idea, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. So what we're talking about is the synagogue is over to your left on the screen. And you'll see where it says the bad world headquarters, Lubavitch. I know I'm messing that up. Forgive me.
Yeah, Lubavitch.
Yep. Yeah, say that real fast 5 times.
Lubavitch. No. I'm from up north, so you know what I mean.
Oh, okay, okay.
This up my alley. These saying it with the accent. So
right. But what you'll notice, fam, remember that I was telling you, that's a pretty long tunnel, right?
That's a long tunnel, family.
Long tunnel. So in the reports, and what we're going to read in the reports is that the tunnel goes from the synagogue, which is over to your left, over to a mikveh or a women's bath off of Union Street. And it literally says around the corner on Union Street. So you can see,
because we got to understand too, when we say around the corner, that's what I'm saying. City blocks is different from being down south.
Yes.
When you say around the corner, look how long that city block is. That is a very long city block. And if you look at on Union Street, right? You see all those homes?
Oh, come on down.
See, those are homes. Those are buildings, like almost like similar to like brownstones, but these are apartment, these are those thin homes. And remember I said the alleyway, you see the alleyway right there too in between, but these are homes. So just where it says Union Street, and you can count the number of homes that this has stretched below.
Now, it's interesting that you brought up the homes, Pastor Kelly, because there are reports that the people that are in these homes heard Jewish voices underneath their houses.
I was going to say, keep it clean. Keep it clean.
They heard Jewish voices. It's one guy said that he's like, man, he's like, for the last few weeks, I've been hearing Yiddish. He said, I've been hearing people speaking Yiddish below my home. And he said that, and I've been trying to tell people that I've been hearing these voices, and my friends have been giving me the hardest time. You know how when you tell your friends, like, hey, Pastor Kelly, I hear some people speaking Yiddish, underneath my house, right? And they said, and
I'm trying not to laugh, man.
Man, and so
my stomach is hurting, man.
but this is the beginning of the story, though.
Exactly. And that was over a month ago when he reported.
Over a month ago. over a month ago. And the timeline of when this tunnel was created changes based off of the article you're looking at. Some will say,
So,
oh, it
so
was
were
like,
they real quick? Cause did they
yeah,
hear him saying something like, "Oh, darling, oh, darling"?
yeah. Stop it. Stop it, Pastor
Oh,
Kelly.
darling, oh, darling.
Man, so underneath these homes, family, people were hearing voices underneath their homes, and they were hearing it for like weeks. And like I was saying, some articles say, well, yeah, they started building this tunnel 6 months ago. Family, they didn't. You can't build this
You
tunnel in
can't.
like
This is not 6 months.
no
This
6 months.
more. But yeah,
It
they've
was
been doing
years.
this longer than that.
It was
Yeah.
years. It was.
I mean,
years.
they were chilling. They had their garments and they were doing some stuff up under there.
Yeah.
They were putting in work, and you're not going to tell me those few did those things.
Yep.
Aha! I say, where's the spoon?
Oh no. But yeah, man. So they I think one of the articles I have, it says that the work possibly started like 2 years ago, and who knows, maybe it was more than 2 years ago. But you think about it, family, somebody digging underneath your house. Think about it. Somebody, you minding your own business and you're hearing voices underneath your house. Crazy, fam. That's crazy stuff. But this is where it all started. So if if we were making a movie out of this, right, we would first start with these people like that's in these thin homes that Pastor Kelly was talking about, and we would be in their living room and they're hearing voices like, man, I think I'm hearing Yiddish, right? And then so that's the opening act, right? People hearing voices underneath their house. And let me see if I have this other slide which talks about how the how they came to know about the tunnel in the first place. Because basically what happened, family, was that one of the residents, right, they were complaining about noises underneath their house, and I guess they were going to get some sort of plumbing work done, and as the and as the plumbers were going to dig a hole like a trench, they came across the secret tunnel. I know, Pastor Kelly.
Now go back to the top real quick, guys. I'm trying not to laugh, man. This is so funny. It's serious, but I'm trying not to laugh. No, go back to the
which one?
Top of the article that you just had up.
This one.
Now, family, I'm going to tell you, just like as we pointed out, when I caught Benaiah pointing out about the length of the tunnel, that's far longer than 50 feet.
Right.
Like I said, when you understand scaling and you can look at certain objects and you can kind of get an idea of just how far that tunnel is, and so that's why I was saying that's not, you know what I mean? That's definitely not inside the synagogue. That's away from the synagogue.
Yep. Unless they're, hey, I can stand to be corrected. If there's a mikveh on Union Street that's closer to the one that I'm highlighting, we'll leave that out there. We can stand to be corrected on that. But it's just that when I typed in mikveh Union Street, that's the one that popped up. Right. So I'm going off of Google.
Yeah, that just wouldn't make sense if they try to say that it was two buildings over.
Yeah.
Because especially when you understand the housing complex back home, you're talking about real thin homes. They deep,
right?
But as you know what I mean. They're in the front. Looking at it from the front, the homes look very, small.
Right.
They're not wide, but they're very long. Similar to like the brownstones. So, and family, I apologize. I know this. I'm laughing, but I can't. Hey, it is what it is. But again, when you look at what my cousin had up on the screen, again, this tells you that, and I believe is more people that is involved. Don't be surprised if you see more and more names start dropping, because this right here is a big scandal.
Yeah.
And the question is, what are they going to find underneath it? I mean, in that tunnel,
Yes.
are they going to go in there and they start really doing the forensic work?
Yeah.
And real quick, want to give shout outs to Sister E. Our condolences to the loss of her father. So want to just give a shout out to Sister E. See her inside the chat, but yeah, family, this is a big scandal. And I believe, and you can correct me, I mean, I'm sure you're going to probably agree as well, because they probably didn't think it was going to blow up the way it blew up.
Right.
And now they're trying to, how it goes, start at the lowest level.
Yep.
Blame the young people.
Oh, come on now. I got something on that too, because they say that at first they say, oh, it was just 7 young people that did it. 7 young people did.
That's how, and then I start seeing the numbers grow.
Yep. But when you watch the video, because that's another thing, I was trying to find the video of where you could see the all the people in the synagogue basically were coming against the police, because you were talking about how you made the comparison that, like, if had that been the black folks coming against the police officers, they would have had the guns out, and it would have been some chalk lines on the ground, right?
Yeah.
But somehow, some way, there were in these videos that we're going to watch, family, they're restrained. At the one point in time when they did lose control of the crowd, they pulled out some spray. You'll see, I'm not sure if he's spraying like pepper spray, but that's when you see the crowd back up.
And because they were coming out the whole, like, see, I'm from the city, right? And I've been in some buildings, and I've seen some rats. They were coming out. They were coming out the hole like someone put, some rat poison in it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It was like, wait a minute, who's popping out of there?
Right.
You know what I mean? The way that it popped out, and then to see the guy coming out of the ground underground. The image that you caught captured on your screen print. I'm like, it was just like an image of a rat. No lie. That's how rats come out of the sewage like that.
Yeah. I saw some comparisons about that on TikTok and Twitter and stuff like that. So it wasn't missed. And of course, that wasn't something that was well received. But they did have that image that kind of popped in your mind. To your point, if you've seen enough of that in the inner cities, that's what pops up in your mind. So.
Yeah, and real quick, Sister E, I know you must sis, but I'm still going to throw a joke at you. That's up in Sister E neck of the woods.
Oh, that is right. Yeah.
5 hot wings.
Sister E, have you heard any voices at night underneath your house? Yeah.
Well,
have you gotten up and some change was missing on your dresser?
Man.
Oh goodness. I'm just joking, fam. Just joking. But check this out, family. It's terrifying 50-foot tunnel, like we said. It looks way longer than that, based off of Google. And that is, if that's the mikvah, I'll put that stipulation in there, that little asterisk. If that's the mikvah that on Union Street that they're talking about, that this tunnel connected to, because if you look at it in green, it says it extends all the way to 770, the address of Shabbat, and the word that Pastor Kelly can say that I can't.
Lubavitch.
Hasidic movement.
This thing of Lubavitch.
Lubavitch. Okay.
Yep.
That's a little bit easier on you. All right. And let's see here. I'm just trying to get to the part where it talks about the plumbing. So let me see if I can find that, fam. So according to the source construction, yeah, here we go. And so this is where it says the underground tunnels connected the women's section. Well, okay, so this is one where it's trying to say that it's within the synagogue, right? It's within the synagogue, and it says the underground tunnel connected the women's section of 770 building to an unused mikvah on nearby Union Street. So this one actually says it's on Union Street. My bad. So nearby Union Street. So this is outside of the synagogue.
See if there's bring your map up again, just to make sure that that's clear, because that's still generic, because the reason why I'm saying that is because when I read, remember when you and I were talking earlier about a TMZ article I made reference to, a lot of the word choices and selections that they used in that article was to kind of really downplay what went on.
Right.
So you're going to have to see another one close by.
Right.
And you should be able to, on Google Maps, it's going to show you what's there.
Yep. Good point. All right. Well, let me just finish up this this source. So in this source,
while you're doing that, I'm gonna try to look it up too.
Okay. So this source comes from the Metro, and it says, the underground city is connected the women's section of 770 building to an unused mikveh on nearby Union Street. So Union Street, and as you can see on the map, Union Street. And so all I did, family, was I went to Google, typed in mikveh Union Street, and this was the location that came up. And if there's another one that we don't know about, please feel free to correct us in the comment section. All right, so just want to throw that out there. But if we read the rest of this one, it says, according to one source, construction workers installing plumbing near the building discovered part of the tunnel when digging a trench to lay a water line. That's the starting point, family. Well, starting point was people hearing voices and things underneath their houses. Then construction workers started laying plumbing, and as they were digging in the ground, it was like, poof, hey, what's that? It's a whole tunnel down there. That's what I believe how things started. And then from there, once that tunnel was discovered, then to your point, Pastor Kelly, I would speculate that they wanted to fill it in and cover it up, try to hide what was going on and not necessarily let it get out. But of course, when they tried to fill it in, that's when they were, of course, you had the pushback from others as part of that community. And that's when you'll see in these other videos where all hell broke loose. Do you have anything else, Pastor Kelly?
No, I was just trying to pull it up as well.
Okay. All right. And it's interesting because that organization, that synagogue, there is some, like I was telling you, there is history about that, this, with the synagogue. And this is the shot that you were talking about, Pastor Kelly, right? Where the gentleman, and he's kind of coming up. I don't know if you can tell, but he's coming up through the grate. The tunnel is underneath there, and he's coming up through the grate. And people were just making the
and go back to that image, cuz.
Yep.
That is not near the synagogue.
That's a good point.
Look at the where he's coming out. Look at the bricks and look at that's not near the synagogue.
Either way, he's outside of it.
He's outside of the synagogue. That's not near the synagogue.
That's on the street.
That's
on the street, cuz, to your point, that's on the street.
And normally you see those type of what you call it, access points like this on the outside in front of a door or underneath the window. This is not near the synagogue. This is actually this right here, looking at it from this angle, this is in front of a building.
Yeah, we'll run through the videos. I wanted to go to the screenshots first, just to show you the map of like where everything was, just kind of so that you can see where things are. People kind of lay it out in their minds, and then we're going to go over to your point, Pastor Kelly. We're going to go over to the videos, and I think if I don't have it, I'll try to find a video of this gentleman as he's coming out of the grate, and then as you can see, to Pastor Kelly's point, he's coming out right near the street. He's walking and he's running down the street. So yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, thank you for pointing that out, Pastor Keller. Let's see here. Yeah, and this is like I said, the news has been all over the place on this, where it says 12 Hasidic Jewish worshipers were arrested after breaking into the world.
Nah, they were breaking out.
They were breaking out. They were not breaking into.
They was not breaking into.
Yep.
They were breaking out because you would see, like I said, the inside, like you pointed out, the inside of the synagogue would be completely different. You don't have mounds of dirt on the inside.
Right. And just as we were pointing out, like on social media, people were noticing these things. It was like, gee, I wonder why there's a baby chair in the tunnel underneath the synagogue. People were looking at these videos, just asking questions. And as you saw here, it says, why were there stained mattresses and baby high chairs in the synagogue?
Oh, that's nasty, man. And I used to, I'm from the city, guys. And some of you guys know, like, that's a baby mattress.
Yeah.
That's a baby mattress.
That's a good point.
And how do I know my mattresses? I used to flip on them.
Well, look at the size of it.
That's a baby mattress right there. That is a nasty mattress. We wouldn't even flip on something like that in this when I was growing up. But that is a nasty mattress. That right there says that, man, just this picture right here says so much.
Yep.
That is, oh my gosh, that is disgusting, man. I can't even see even having that. I mean, look how comfortable they are with having that near their face. But that is nasty. That is, I mean, like I said, when you see, growing up in the city where I grew up, there'd be mattresses in out on the streets that we used to flip on literally. Yeah. That's worse than that.
Yep.
The mattresses I flipped on.
Yep.
That should be, from a perspective of, because they should have started laying out the tape, yellow tape and everything.
Oh, they did.
Okay.
They had the yellow tape, and actually in some of the articles you'll hear them say mattresses, and it actually was mattresses. Like, this is just one of the mattresses that came out. And like I said, you know what, Pastor Kelly, maybe we're jumping to conclusions. Maybe we're reaching and we're doing some bad things. So to that point, let me play a quick video of someone that has a different perspective than maybe where we're going down the road. So let's just back up and let's listen to the other side of the spectrum.
I wasn't going to comment on the Chabad tunnels, as you are calling them, but now I feel like I have to, because what I'm seeing over and over again all over TikTok and Instagram and X, formerly Twitter, is people who are taking this really crazy incident that happened and making it an opportunity to just hate Jews and say horrible things and make up a lot of lies as well. I do not have all the facts, and I'm going to share that with you because I think it's important that people who...
Now, if I just interject here for a moment.
I know what you're going to say, because I'm ready to bust out my steam right now. Go ahead, guys.
Just because you disagree with someone or you have a different perspective on a case or a situation doesn't mean that you hate them. If you have a child and your child does something and you don't agree with it, it doesn't mean that you hate them. If you have a friend and your friend does something and you disagree with them, it doesn't mean that you hate them. I've seen people always go to this, this victimhood mentality when it comes to disagreements, right, with the Jewish community. And that it's frustrating because they can't, it seems like people can't really deal with disagreements. And I just don't, well, go ahead, Pastor Kelly.
And they're going, where she's going at with it. They're going to say anti-Semitic tropes. And then all of a sudden, mark my word, you will hear this Semitism is at an all-time high because of this situation. Every situation that happens, anti-Semitism is at an all-time high. It goes to a new level. With the Kanye whole situation, at an all-time level, like never before, like what they say, never before since the Holocaust. And then what happened? Something else happened. Never before since the Holocaust. There's something else. It's in this right here is getting into that area of, hey, if you say something, then you hate our people. No, that has nothing to do with hating on anyone, like you said. This is just spitting the facts. We're going off of what we see. Had the shoe been on the other foot, come on now. They would have made sure everything was off limits. Man, they would have had like 100 people already down at the station. Some people would have been dead, the whole nine. You know, but anyway, yeah, I'm with you, cuz that anti-Semitic trope is what she's kind of dangling around.
It's So that's not what it is, family. Just want to put that out there for anyone that's listening. That's not part of the channel. That's not what it is. Anytime there's a disagreement or different perspective, doesn't mean that you hate Jews.
Hey, I love everybody.
I love everybody. We're Israelites, by the way. So, so anyway, but let me play the rest of it just so that you can hear her perspective, because I do want you, because even in research, family, when I tell people is that even during research and even in my profession, we are encouraged to hear the other perspective, right? And that's how, at the end of the day, you can validate your position. If the other counter narrative or counter argument is weak compared to yours, then you therefore validated your position or your perspective. So that's why, and when I do my research, not only do I, go down the path or follow the path of where the information that I'm looking at leads me, but when I get to that destination, I then turn to see if someone has reached a different destination, and then I'll go and listen and research what they've done. And that's why when, we came out with all the research showing that the Israelites were black, brown, melanated people using old books that were published before the 1850s, especially the ones where they focus specifically on Spanish and Portuguese Jews. And it's a repeatable revelation, a repeatable discovery that anybody can arrive at, a repeatable destination that anyone can arrive at. That's how we validated our position. That's when I said, oh, you know what? Well, this is it. This is facts. This is the truth. So anyway, I know. Sorry for the for the rant, but let's just listen to the rest of her perspective, family.
Don't have all the facts. Stop pretending they have all the facts. But the reality is that there was a fringe group of people who decided that they wanted to expand 770. And they did a very bad thing. And they built illegal tunnel. They built one illegal tunnel from the mikveh to 770. It's terrible. And they went into 770 and just started like ripping down the walls, and people were freaking out. I've watched video from it. I'm sure a lot of you have too. And yes, there were these dirty mattresses, which people are claiming were bloody mattresses. They're dirty mattresses, guys. I can't explain everything, especially because it just happened. I am sure that most people who are trying to explain a lot of things don't have all the facts yet, right? Because it just happened. But the reality is that what people are doing now is making this an opportunity to hate Jews and make this all about how evil Jews are, and these tunnels, these illegal tunnels, and they're calling them like tunnels, are happening in New York. This is one-off horrible thing that happened, and one crazy tunnel that should have never happened. And I hope that all of these people are arrested and there is major accountability for it. But the fact that people are so excited about it because they could be like, see, there go the Jews again. That is why I'm making this video. So there's my comment for you on the Chabad tunnel.
Well, there you go. And just a quick note on, because she said it was a fringe group of Jews that did this. Let me share something with you, fam, about this fringe group and what other media outlets are saying about this fringe group. So let me see if I can share the screen. All right. So this is the fringe group of Jews that did this tunnel at the in the Bronx, in Brooklyn. It says, and this is the Jewish Forward, right? And it says, we're kind of halfway down the article where it says, according to Haredi news source, Koliv.com, the students who tried to stop the filling of the tunnel were mostly from Israel. Israel, and associated with Chabad Messianism, whose adherents believed that Rabbi Menachem Mendel, the seventh rabbi.
Let me see that. Well, that's Mendel Schneerson.
Yeah, right. Schneerson. And seventh,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Pastor Kelly.
No, I'm just saying Menachem Mendel Schneerson.
Yeah. The seventh Lubavitcher Rebbe was the Messiah. So basically, the people that dug that tunnel came from Israel, and they believed that this rabbi was, that he was the Messiah, and what they're saying is that the Shabbat movement publicly disavows those beliefs. So anyway, just to give you some background on what whenever she says that it was a different sect of Jews there, just understand that those people that dug those tunnels, according to this news source, came from Israel.
But the New York, that area has the largest Lubavitch group. Matter of fact, when you study the history, you'll see that it was the Rebbe that prophesied, so to speak, over Netanyahu. It's a lot more to it. They are much larger. They're a very large group in New York City. They're not a small group by any means.
Right.
They're a very large group. And also, I believe that, if I remember correctly, Donald Trump's daughter's husband is connected to them. So they're not some small group, like what is being portrayed. That community is very large.
Right. Right. What I wanted to show you here, family, is like we were talking about the cement truck. So remember, we started off with the people in the apartment complex. They're hearing voices, right? And then one of the folks is having some pipe work done, and they're laying a trench, and they come across the tunnel. And then at some point, the synagogue's trying to fill in the tunnel. So, like I said, speculation would seem as though that they were trying to, cover it up, hide it. Who knows the reason why. And then, of course, when the cement truck shows up, and there's a couple of different. It's not in order. That's the reason why you see me kind of scrolling through this page. I wish they would have put it in order. I just want to show you that there's different shots of the cement truck, so you can see that somebody broke this. Came while they were trying to fill it, and they broke the pipe that was putting the cement in the or attempting to put the cement in the hole. And that's another shot. I'm ignoring you, cuz. So, but also on this shot, also on here, family. So they got a couple of some videos on here. So the authorities were notified, and this is the video associated with that. Don't worry about it. If you can't hear the video, that's fine. I just wanted to show you the pictures.
Now, is that directly in front of the? It looks like it's directly in front of the synagogue.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but you can see that the police officers are coming into the synagogue at this point.
Yeah, that's the synagogue.
See? All right. So I'm trying to go in chronological order. Let me see if I can stop this one.
The video you just played, does it show any cement trucks around the synagogue?
No. The only thing I have of the cement trucks are video snapshots. Yeah, I don't have any live pictures of that. So, all right. So let me see if I can find the one where they start demolition on the. Yeah, there's at least one or two in here, family, where when they started the demolition. Let's just click on a few of these. All right, so yeah, police started arresting some folks. This is where they were actually leading the people that they arrested. out of the synagogue. Yep. And let me close this one. I think we saw taking them out the walls. So you can see that's the yellow tape out. You was asking about the yellow tape, Pastor Kelly.
Yeah.
So they finally put it up, but there's actually a shot in here before they but yeah, this is when they start tearing stuff up. Look at them tossing over the desk.
Wow.
So as you can see, it's more than 12 people, right?
Absolutely.
It's more
So
than 12 people or 7 people.
Because if that's the case, if it was just only a handful, why are they, all of them, fighting the police,
right,
or fighting to keep it open?
Right. So the police officers are trying to arrest the people, some of the people that are in the tunnel, so which is behind that little curtain. And when they started arresting them, that's when the crowd gets rowdy, right? And that's when
you know what? Because I can answer the question. I just thought about it. Quite honestly, they teach that they have their own rules. They have their law, they have their rules. That's aside from what everyone else have to abide by in this country. Now that I think about it, and why they're behaving that way, because according to them, they have their own rules. And I'll see if I could find a video, because it's a video that I did. Me and my cousin, our cousin Jerry Carr, and I did a video like 5 years ago, dealing with Jewish scandal. But the key, when they was dealing with for example, pedophilia, the key, one of the guys in there, and of course many of them was from this community, said that they have their own law. So if a victim, for the victims, they're not supposed to go to the law enforcement as far as the law that we all would have to deal with, law enforcements, because they have their own law and they deal with it how they deal with it, which sent them to give them plane tickets to Israel. To keep them out of harm's way.
Yep, that's a good point. And that's why you have fighting with police officers. You're tearing up.
So they cannot say that is they can no longer ask us the question, why black folks tear up their own stuff in the riot?
Yep,
you know how they always throw that out there. Why they tearing up their own stuff?
Now he's spraying. He's spraying like either pepper spray or something. And this is what finally gets them off of him. He's spraying them, and they're like, okay, we out. We out on that one. We out. Yep. Some of them are covering their face.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yep. And this is one, of course, they started bringing out.
Look at that mattress. Ugh.
Yeah, they're dismantling the wall. So basically, family, the tunnel came up to just behind this wall. And one of the things I couldn't really understand why was that, so as they were trying to fill in the tunnel from the outside, then they came into the inside and started dismantling this panel, and they even knocked a hole in the wall. And I'm not sure why they did that, because some of the news sources were saying that they did that because they wanted to prevent them from filling it up with concrete. But that, like I said, I'm not. That one didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. That's them breaking down the wall.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And let me pull up Twitter right quick.
Oh, they probably going to town on Twitter.
Yeah, because I just at the the one I'm looking for is not really in here. But let me share Twitter right quick. Hang on, family. See, share screen, window, Twitter.
Man, they had a little exercise thing down there. Did you see that?
No,
Man, let me put this link inside though, and you can this New York Post. But I'm gonna put the link. I'm gonna put it in the private for you.
Yeah. So if you can see right, and at that point they had not taken down the wall, and of course this is the tunnel.
Right there. Go back up.
Mm-hmm.
What's that to the left, middle of the screen?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? If you go look towards the mid top right, now go to the left. What's that over there? I can't tell.
Yeah, I can't tell. It's grainy.
But if you look at the video that I mean, link I sent you,
Mm-hmm.
and it has photos there, and it's Exhibit 7, and under Exhibit 7, it looks like some type of workout. What you call it? No, I'm brain dead tonight.
Yep, no worries. Let me see if I can bring it up, fam. Hang on. Let me do copy.
Oh, and see, look at what they're trying to do. You'll see in this New York Post,
mm-hmm.
What they're saying is that this is the build, right? Well, I'll let you pull it up and we can kind of go through it.
Okay.
It's as if they're saying that women's prayer section is basically in the back of that building.
Yeah.
To the rear of that same building.
Yep. And that's the confusion. Like that's the whole thing. Like, is it inside the building? Is it not? Because you'll find some articles that says that it's not. And to your point, when we watch some of these videos of them exiting out of the synagogue, you can see that it's not in the building.
Yeah. Yeah.
So is this the one you were talking about, Pastor Kelly?
Let's see.
Inside the mysterious tunnel.
I can't see. Well, is that the New York Post link I sent you?
Oh, hang on. I'm not sharing the screen. Let me see if I can share screen, window. This one right here.
Let's see. Yeah. Now, if you scroll down.
So that's the tunnel. Those are the clothes.
Now you see the image below that right here. That's what they're trying to say. To position of that tunnel. So they're saying with that fight and everything broke out is, they saying this is the Chabad headquarters and that this is supposed to be the women's prayer section of the building. That looks a lot further than what's here.
But remember, the other article said it was off of Union Street. So this is East Parkway.
That's East Park. Yeah.
That's East Parkway.
If you scroll down a little lower, the image I was referring to, right there, the one on the left.
Oh, yeah.
Your mouse is over.
Yeah.
Look at right there. Doesn't that look like an exercise machine?
Yep, it sure does.
It's like, what would, whatever they were doing down there, man.
That's crazy. Yep, that's the other exhibit 7. That's crazy. Yep. Well, let me see. Did I have all right, let me just check. All right, fam. I'm not gonna hold you too much longer. Let me just thought I had one more video. I think I may have had that in Twitter. If I don't find it, then we will go to the last video I have on this one. Just wanted to oh, here we go. I got it. All right, so I'm gonna stop sharing. Oops.
Okay. Shonda says it's a high chair. No, it looked like a treadmill to me.
Yeah.
So, man, if that's a high chair, you know. Oh, someone said baby stroller. Okay. Yeah, for me, it just looked like a. See, that's on the street. That's a newspaper. Go back. Because that's normally the USA. No, that's a newspaper stand right there.
Yes. Yep.
So, like we're saying, that's out on the streets.
Might have to go through this one to see if I can find a street name on here. But yeah, to your point, yeah, yep. So that's
man. Look at that. That looked just like the rodents, man, coming out of there. I'm telling you, man. Especially at night,
right?
Man, you see them coming out, man.
Yeah,
man. I mean, the whole behaviors and everything, man. I'm telling you, family, territorial spirits are real. Because that's exactly how rats come out from under the tunnels, man. Or if you're in the subway, depending on what subway you're on, man, they can come out of come from out of the chairs, the seats, and all that.
Mm.
But that's exactly how they come up from out of the tunnels, the drainage.
Well, let me show you, fam. Yeah, somebody had that. Let's see, Kingston Avenue, East Parkway. So East Parkway, I think on that map that you were showing, because it said something about East Parkway, but the other end of the tunnel ended on Union Street. So yeah, anyway, but like I said, family, there's confusion on that because Union Street is supposed to be the other end of the tunnel.
What's that?
No, I'm not. That's why I went quick. I went quick on that, but I knew you was gonna get on that one, Pastor Kelly. All right, family. Well, let me wrap it up, fam. So maybe you're thinking like, oh man, this is like a one-off. This is just something that just happened, and we've never seen this before, that sort of thing. And that's kind of like what one thing that the young lady brought up. But before you think that, let me share this video with you, and hopefully you can hear the audio on it. So let me bring it up.
18 weeks ago, Casey Neistat posted a video where he found a hole in a New York City sidewalk, so he flew to New York to try to find it.
So guys, we just found the location of Casey Neistat's hole. They actually cemented it off. We're gonna try to find another way in. I'm fairly sure I know exactly where it is. This is the exact location that he filmed at.
We got an anonymous tip about a hole in a synagogue that led to the tunnels. This synagogue was long abandoned, but there was entrances in the basement. We walked downstairs and found a cat. I have no idea how a cat got in this basement, but it soon ran away. Somebody smashed a hole in a wall, possibly to find the entrance, and they even opened a vent. This looked like exactly what we were looking for.
We kept finding more rooms and it started to become a labyrinth. We found a ladder that led up to a vent, but it wasn't a vent. It was actually tunnels leading under New York City. These looked like secret maintenance tunnels, but I wasn't sure. Should I post a part 2?
There you go. And this is in Manhattan. This is he's in a old abandoned synagogue in Manhattan, and they're looking around, and they were trying to find an entrance to that tunnel that person came across on the street, because you can see that when the video first starts off, it starts off with
Weeks ago, Casey Neistat
someone stepping on a hole, and he looking down and seeing that there was a tunnel underneath the sidewalk. And so what they did, family, was that they then went to go and try to find out where this hole was. And again, we're not talking about the one that everybody's talking about today. This is a separate one. The one that everyone's talking about today is in Brooklyn. This is in Manhattan. This is in Manhattan. So in Manhattan,
posted a video where he found a hole in a New York City side.
Right. I'm not gonna play it again, but you get it, fam.
No, play it one more time, because that was interesting. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll just, because it and that was one of my questions that I raised in the video that I did earlier, is how many more of these tunnels are there?
Right.
And does it stretch across the country, and in the same communities and other places?
Right.
Not saying that the tunnels stretch across there, but you know what I mean? That are these tunnels in other areas, but how many of these tunnels are all around these different cities?
Yeah. I mean, the idea had to come from somewhere, right? It's not like somebody that just had a brand new idea, to your point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll play it again here. Hang on a second.
16 weeks ago, Casey Neistat posted a video where he found a hole in a New York City sidewalk, so he flew to New York to try to find it. So guys, we just found the location of Casey Neistat's hole. They actually cemented it off. We're gonna try to find another way in. I'm fairly sure I know exactly where it is. This is the exact location that he filmed at. We got an anonymous tip about a hole in a synagogue that led to the tunnels. This synagogue was long abandoned, but there was entrances in the basement. We walked downstairs and found a cat. I have no idea how a cat got in this basement, but it soon ran away. Somebody smashed a hole in a wall, possibly to find the entrance, and they even opened a vent. This looked like exactly what we were looking for. We kept finding more rooms, and it started to become a labyrinth. We found a ladder that led up to a vent, but it wasn't a vent. It was actually tunnels leading under New York City. These looked like secret maintenance tunnels, but I wasn't sure. Should I post a part 2?
There you go. Just show you that there's more out there. To Pastor Kelly's point, there's more out there than just that one. So, but that's it, family. So hopefully, Most High willing, this kind of helped give some clarity on certain things, helped with the chronology of it. One thing I had a hard time finding was when I first started doing the research on it, family, I came across the statements from one of the residents that was on that street, on Union Street, a Union Street resident, where he was saying that, man, I heard voices. But
yeah, I saw some on that as well, as far as at least in the article that I read.
Yeah, well, I actually had his quote. I had the quote,
okay.
But I lost it because I had it up in a different window where I didn't save my history on it. So, but if I come back across it, family, I will post it. But that's the chronology is like people were hearing voices, and then there was some work that occurred. I think they were trying to lay a line for plumbing. When they tried to lay a line for plumbing, they came across that tunnel. The tunnel was discovered, and then at some point, the synagogue tried to close it up or cover it up, and then that's when everything just kind of broke loose. Where you saw the altercation between the police officers and the Jews. So that's it. So any comments on that, Cuz?
No, you did a great job, because I know I brought a little humor, but so far and prayerfully, no innocent. When I say innocent, any people, whether it's children, women, whatever, prayerfully there's no innocent, no victims with all of this. Prayerfully that it doesn't go beyond them guys doing whatever. Hopefully that there's no, that there's no victims, people that was taken advantage of when it comes to situations like this. So it does bring up a lot of thoughts, but I'm not going to put it out there because for the sake of the channel, your channel. So right. I don't want to put you in any type of, compromise because of that. So family, let's be considerate. I know we had some laughs here, but let's be careful. Let's be considerate that we don't want to put Benaya's channel in jeopardy because of the comments that are being posted in the chat. So they are monitoring our channels big time. So if you posted something that can be questionable from that community, just remove it as a courtesy to the platform. So great job, Benaya. Really appreciate you.
Hey, thanks, cuz. Well, so to that end, family, we are on Rumble. You know, Rumble is a platform that does give us a little bit more freedom of expression. So if you're not a member or if you haven't joined our channel on Rumble, just go over to Rumble, type in Hidden Hebrews, and then, you know, you will see, you know, I think our channel is the only Hidden Hebrews over there. So, you know, please, you know, join just in case, like to Pastor Kelly's point, you know, if the, how can I put it? If the restrictions, you know, occur on YouTube, you know, we will always have a secondary place to share information. So that's the purpose of Rumble. And just a quick note before we close out, family. You know, these are some of the unanswered questions we have about this. Is we don't really know what you know a whole lot about the destination of the tunnel. To Pastor Kelly's point, like, you know, you don't see a whole lot of videos about what's down there, what's down that hall, what's down that tunnel, right? And that's what I would like to see. And also, you know, we also would like, you know, hopefully, prayerfully, they're going through their investigation, and, you know, anything that comes up, you know, hopefully that will be shared. But I'm sure that if something bad, if they come across something that's you know, shocking, I'm sure that they, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if the powers to be try to suppress it. You know, I'll just put it to you that way. So anyway, but all right, family. Well, thanks again for joining. Just another quick reminder, you know, next video, well, we'll see. I may have another live before I do publish the Deuteronomy 28 video, but just as a quick reminder for those who may have joined late, there is a Deuteronomy 28 video that will be due out, you know, if not this Shabbat, maybe, you know, the following week. So just be patient with me, family. And just for the benefit of those who may have joined late, I'll just play a little bit of that, and then we will end our video. I've been on conference calls today, so just so you know. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of Yahuwah thy Elohim, to observe to do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that Yahuwah thy Elohim will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of Yahuwah thy Elohim. Blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field. Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. Blessed shall be the basket and thy store. Blessed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and blessed shalt thou be when thou goest out. And Yahuwah shall cause thine enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face. They shall come out against thee one way, and flee from before thee 7 ways. And Yahuwah shall command the blessing upon thee in thy storehouses, and in all thou settest thine hand unto. And he shall bless thee in the land which Yahuwah thy Elohim giveth thee. And Yahuwah shall establish thee an holy people unto himself, as he has sworn unto thee, if thou shalt keep the commandments of Yahuwah thy Elohim, and walk in his ways. And all the people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of Yahuwah, and they shall be afraid. And Yahuwah shall make thee plenteous in goods, in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy ground, in the land which Yahuwah sware unto thy fathers to give thee. And Yahuwah shall open unto thee his good treasure, the heaven, to give the rain unto the land in his possession, and to bless all the work of thine hand. And thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow. And Yahuwah shall make thee the head and not the tail. And thou shalt be above only, and thou shalt not be beneath, if that thou hearken unto the commandments of Yahuwah thou Elohim, which I command thee this day, to observe them and to do them. And thou shalt not go aside from any of these words which I command thee this day, to the right hand or to the left, to go after other gods, to serve them.